Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Waiting to rise again.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Quirks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome in, Hunt Palmer, coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this football Friday. That does mean we're brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. Got Jordan Kitchens and Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos. Fired up, you were hanging out with us. Hopefully that work week is in the rearview mirror for you. If that's the case, congrats. If it's not, we'll get you to the finish line here on this football Friday. Same list of things we do every single week. Preston Guy, 15 minutes from now, we'll set the scene for the NFL Sunday to come. Some really good action on the gridiron on Sunday. There's some good action on the gridiron on Saturday as well. Really good slate if you're an LSU fan and the Tigers win at 11 o'clock in the morning, because there's some good stuff later on in the afternoon, especially in the SEC. We'll pick those against the spread coming up at the top of hour number 2. Also got Take It or Leave It coming up as pick for Saints and Bears, pick for LSU and Vanderbilt. We're loaded for the next 2 hours. So if you were maybe in transit to Nashville to go watch the Tigers, thanks for locking us in. If you're still at work, thanks for locking us in. If you're just driving around on a gorgeous fall Saturday, thanks for being here. Let's crank it up the way we do every single day with our Genesis Opening Drive.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive, presented by Genesis of Baton Rouge.
LSU and Vanderbilt is where we're going to start today. And if y'all heard me talk this week, you understand where I'm coming from on this Vanderbilt team. I called their statistics fraudulent earlier this week, and I stand by that. That does not mean, and I've said so in the segment, that I think Vanderbilt is fraudulent. I don't think they are. I think Vanderbilt's a really solid SEC football team. I stopped short of good, certainly stopped short of great. They're playing against the Vanderbilt expectation, and LSU is playing against the LSU expectation, which is why you've got teams in fairly similar situations who have beat up on some lesser teams that have a loss against what I perceive to be a pretty good SEC team. And people were giving toasts and cheers to Vanderbilt, and people were saying that LSU needs to fire everybody associated with the program. It's because I've talked about all fall that LSU's playing against a championship curve. Vanderbilt's not playing on a championship curve. They're playing on the Vanderbilt curve, which means you win 3 or 4 SEC games, you've really done something. But I think when you take those two things together and you take an LSU team that's struggling relative to its expectation and a Vanderbilt team that's exceeding what we expect out of them, you find kind of a match in the middle, which is why I think Vegas has had this thing between 1.5 and 2.5 all week, and why you're going to get picks on both sides of the ledger this week in this game. And I think that makes a lot of sense. I talked at length about the Vanderbilt offense yesterday and about what they're trying to do and how they establish things. And I want to talk about the Vanderbilt defense today. You know, Vanderbilt's defense statistically is doing a very nice job. Their offense makes sure that they're not on the field very often. Their head coach is a great defensive mind. They've done an excellent job rushing off the edge and creating pressures. If you look at where they stand in the Southeastern Conference when it comes to getting back there and sacking the quarterback, they're 4th. They've got 18 of them. They average 3 a game. And that's very solid work. That's the strength of their team. You look at what they do off the edge. Capers is really tough. He's got 4.5 sacks. Wood has 2 sacks. Like they've got some guys that can give you some issues on the edge. And we know that LSU has struggled at right tackle, and Tyree Adams at left tackle has been okay. That's what Vanderbilt does best. What I was looking at specifically is Vanderbilt's rushing defense, because I think that's relevant with LSU trying to find something on the ground. And you look at the run defense numbers, and Vanderbilt's 5th in the SEC in terms of yards per game in rushing defense. They're 6th when it comes to yards per carry. When you look at rushing touchdowns allowed, Vanderbilt is 3rd in the league. Like, those numbers are very, very good. And I'm like, okay, well, that's a team that is doing a pretty good job of stopping the run. And then I look at what Alabama did in that game, and I really prioritize what Alabama did against Vanderbilt as opposed to South Carolina or Virginia Tech or Charleston Southern or Utah State. Like, I want to see what Bama did. And Bama ran it 38 times in that game for 146 yards and a touchdown. It was not a prolific effort on the ground by the Tide, who I think run it better than LSU. It was a good effort. I don't think it was a great effort. I look at Jam Miller. When he's healthy, he's a solid back in the SEC. And I look at their offensive line, and it's been Alabama's offensive line's been better than LSU's for sure. So I'm interested in how effective LSU can be on the ground, because as we look at these baby steps, the baby steps have to come for this group to progress, because you're not anticipating, or at least I'm not, LSU to become this juggernaut on the ground overnight. And I'm not going to sit here and suggest that running the ball in South Carolina proves a significant point. I think it's a step in the right direction. I'm certainly glad they ran it for 160 on South Carolina instead of the 50 they ran against Ole Miss for. Like, that's good. But, okay, where can you go from there? Prove it. And I think LSU's got a chance to run the ball early in this game, and I haven't said that all year. I think they have a chance to run the ball early in this game because I think Clark Lee and Vanderbilt are going to sit back a little bit to play coverage. I think they probably have to. When you consider Aaron Anderson back, which we expect on Saturday, and you consider what Trey'Dez Green showed last week, that's two guys who are problem causers. And I would contend that the speed of Barryon Brown and Chris Hilton, when they're on the field, is a problem causer for Vanderbilt. And this goes back to the Alabama team that threw for 340 on him. And I think Clark Lee probably looks at this and goes, okay, let's take away their fastball first and see if they can drop the breaking ball in for a strike first. So I'm going to take away the best I can, Anderson, Green, Hilton, Brown first. And if I can win with 5 up front, like some teams have done, Ole Miss certainly did it 3 weeks ago, as it were, then I've got something now. And I think that's probably where Vanderbilt starts. And if you're LSU, you've got to try and go, okay, we're going to run some straight ahead stuff. You want to do that with Juwan Johnson out of the Wildcat? Great. You want to do that with Malachi Lane back there with him as a fullback? Great. You want to put Jack Pyburn in there for a snap or two? Great. You want to hand the ball to Xavion Thomas motioning out of the backfield? Great. You just want to give it to Caden Durham 14 times in the first half? Great. I'm okay with any of that. I don't have something in my mind that goes, hey, this is the way you have to do it. You just got to get it done one way or another. And if LSU finds some early success on the ground, which they did some different things, this is one of those deals. I don't have any pride at all here on this radio station. I trust Flynn and Hester to break down tape in the running game before I do anything. And they're suggesting that last week was the most creative we've seen LSU. We saw pulling guards. We saw some power. We saw some wrinkles. I can tell personnel. I can tell you that Juwan Johnson's out there. I can tell you that Jack Pyburn or Malachi Lane's out there. I'm not as good at diagnosing what exactly they're trying to accomplish at the line of scrimmage with each individual blocker. Flynn and Hester can do it. They're suggesting last week, step of progress after the bye with Durham healthy. I want to see more of that in the first half. And if you see a first half where LSU's able to run for 4 yards on first down, LSU's able to convert 3rd and 2 on the ground, LSU gets into the red zone and does run the ball successfully. If you see that, LSU might win this game by a couple scores, because I do not think that Vanderbilt can run with LSU out on the perimeter, and I think the quarterback is ready to go this week. I liked what I heard from Garrett Nussmeier on Tuesday. I think there's a quiet confidence there. But there is a but. If you can't, and those windows get real tight, and you can't run the ball, and you're constantly in 2nd and 11 and 2nd and 10, and you're counting on Nussmeier time and time again to win down the field with his arm in tight windows, because there's so many defenders out there, that's when the Vanderbilt pass rush can, and I believe will, get to you. I don't trust LSU's tackles right now. They blocked okay, but Vanderbilt's got a couple edge guys that can win. And if Vanderbilt knows that LSU's throwing the ball, that's when Clark Lee can kind of dial it up and they can get after it. Bama did enough on the ground against Vanderbilt, running for 146 to give Ty Simpson pockets, and he went nuts on that secondary. Nuts on that secondary. And Nussmeier can do that. I'm ready to proclaim that. But that needs to be the second phase of this. I think you'll know pretty early where LSU sits offensively. Because I don't think this is an X's and O's thing to an extent. I think there's a Jimmy's and Joe's element to this. Keep in mind, goes back to the original point of the segment. We threw bouquets all over the place on Vanderbilt last year. They went 7-6. That's what you're playing on Saturday. You're playing a 7-6 program. You're playing maybe a program that goes 8-4 in the regular season, probably 7-5. That's what you're playing tomorrow. But I am not in a position to sit here and look down my nose at Vanderbilt when LSU's offense has produced to the way it has produced to this point in the schedule. Because I promise you, if you can't run the ball tomorrow and all of a sudden you're behind the chains and you score 17 or 20 points in this game like you did against Clemson, like you did against Florida, like you did against South Carolina, you'll lose. I feel convicted in that. You're going to have to do something on the offensive side. And guess what? What you did last week against South Carolina, against what I think is probably comparable personnel, that's enough with 2 or 3 cleaner plays in the red zone. That's enough. Doesn't have to be worlds different, but it has to start with a little bit of ground game. And I'm telling you this, you can say, well, that's such an obvious thing to say. We've been saying, I have not said that all year. I told you when they went to Oxford 2 weeks ago, I said they will not run the ball. That environment, that defense, that coordinator, I have no trust they can run it. I do not sit here and say that on this Football Friday. I say I think there is a chance LSU can run the ball. If they don't, trouble. Because I think Vanderbilt will do some things offensively to bleed the clock, keep things close, and, potentially beat you late. I'll give you a pick on it at the end of the show. We got more to break down. I want to flip sides of the ball once again later on in the show, and we'll talk about it a little bit more with Preston Guy as we move forward. We got our NFL picks, NFL schedule to lay out, and we got our SEC picks against the spread coming as well. We're brought to you by Cork's Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. Got a watch party lunchtime tomorrow. Cork's Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp, happy to feed your whole crew, no matter what size that is for your watch party here in Baton Rouge. They're on Government between Foster and Jefferson. Check them out online, corksfishandshrimp.com. When we come back, Preston Guy from Tiger Bait next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. If you've got a bathroom that was designed in the 90s, very early 2000s, a lot of times you'll have those big jacuzzis in the stand-up shower, and if things are starting to malfunction a little bit or just aren't looking the way you'd like them to look, you'd like to modernize it, this is something David and his team do all the time. They'll take that standing shower and they'll take that shower out, put in a linen closet right there. You can have an open one or a door that shuts there. That's perfect size for that. And then you take that big jacuzzi tub you may never sit in, and then turn that space into a walk-in shower. It just transforms the look of your bathroom. If you're having trouble visualizing that, well, go to onebathandclosets.com. There are pictures of their great work. You can see what that'll look like, and it can transform your bathroom as well. Have that sit down, that free consultation with David Duvall, and he'll tell you what they can do. You can give him ideas, and y'all can customize something exactly to your specifications. If you're looking for financing, they've got it. Look at 0% for 18 months. If you qualify. It's One Bath and Closets. Find everything they got online at onebathandclosets.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
While Louisiana politics can seem like they're from another planet, Moon Griffon isn't afraid to bring politicians back down to earth. Listen to the Moon Griffon Show weekday mornings at 9 on Talk 107.3.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Chugging along here on this beautiful Friday in the capital city. LSU and Vanderbilt tomorrow, 11 o'clock. It's the scheduled kickoff time, 11:05 officially when Boot meets ball at Memorial Stadium. Newly refurbished Memorial Stadium. Interested to get a report from those who travel up there. Preston Guy with us, TigerBait.com, joins us on Fridays talking football. Preston, how are you, sir?
Fine. How's it going?
It's going well. What do you think of the offense against South Carolina? Are you in the camp that they need to score more than 20? Or are you more in the camp that they move the ball pretty well?
I mean, I don't know that those are mutually exclusive. Both. Yeah, no, they definitely need to score more than 20. But that being said, I mean, it was their best offensive output of the year. You know, you had 420 yards. You ran the ball respectably. You had 3 big explosive runs. And he passed the ball well. Nussmeier looked the best he's looked all year in terms of throwing the ball more than 15 yards. It was a lot of it's just 3 very frustrating turnovers. What stood out to me is all 3 of those turnovers came on drives where they were moving the ball 6 or more plays, 30 or more yards, right? I think the average was 9 plays, 58 yards, something like that they had those turnovers on, including 2 on the 1-yard line effectively. So, yeah, I mean, you got to clean those turnovers up. But the way I look at it is, how many plays did you need to improve the outcome on against Ole Miss to have a good offensive output versus how many plays would you have to improve against South Carolina? And arguably you could fix those 3 turnovers, and that's a blowout.
How do you feel about Nussmeier right now, big picture?
Yeah, I'm hoping he can continue to improve. Obviously, 2 dumb interceptions that he had. One was just inaccuracy, and one was just a boneheaded decision that we've seen a little bit too much out of him. I do feel better about his health and his ability to make throws you need. I don't think that if he gives you what he gave you against South Carolina, you need to necessarily turn to the backup. That is how I felt against Ole Miss. But I think he gives you your best chance to win games, and you just got to hope that he continues to improve and physically is feeling where he felt in 2024 moving forward.
Did you see the strides in the running game? Do you have any confidence that could be a step in the right direction moving forward, or is that just bad South Carolina?
Well, I don't think South Carolina is all that bad against the run. That was the thing is, they were a respectable defense, obviously on offense. They are what they are this year. But Dylan Stewart was out there, and he was, he was giving your right tackle, Weston Davis. He was giving them the business all game long, unfortunately. But, 0 sacks, and they held their own. And I think that they showed a bit more power elements. They had pulling guards this game. They actually had a fullback. They had the Piper and fullback play, although it didn't go for 51 this time. So their average is down dramatically. But all that being said, I think that they invested more into a traditional running game, and I think we saw that. I think if you get the running game you get this weekend consistently, I think you're going to win some games this year. Now you do, especially if you clean up the turnovers that came with it.
Do you think moving forward that Aaron Anderson and Trey'Dez Green will lead LSU in targets?
I think Trey'Dez Green has definitely made a name for himself where he's going to earn it, whereas I think early on this season, there was just too many mouths to feed. And with a lot of mouths to feed, there's a lot of chemistry to be built, and I think that they're having trouble determining who gets top targets, especially even within his own position group. He's struggling with targets with Bauer Sharp. So I think that they've just been trying to do a little too much, and it's just been a little inconsistency. In the first 3 games, Chris Hilton got 4 targets. Well, this game, it seems like with these deep balls, just there's always something going wrong. And in this game, you finally get it to him in stride. He's open, good blocking, good throw, and he just finally drops it, So, yeah, I think that I would like to see some more, consolidation of the mouths you're trying to feed and focus on. I think Trey'Dez Green has earned that. I think Aaron Anderson has certainly earned that. You probably got room for consistently guys getting 5+ targets, probably 1 or 2 more guys on top of that to get 5+ targets. That's where you start to have to make some decisions.
If I said LSU was going to score exactly 24 points tomorrow, how would you feel about that?
I think that'd be very frustrating, but it's probably enough to win the football game.
You think it would be enough to win?
Yeah, I do. I think LSU's defense probably holds them something in the neighborhood of 17 points or so.
Okay. Well, how many do you think LSU's going to score tomorrow?
About 24. Yeah.
Okay. So you're looking for a frustrating afternoon in Nashville.
Again.
All right.
Yeah, I do think LSU wins. The only thing is the team on paper. I looked at it, and the first thing I said was LSU minus 6.5. That's how I feel in this spot. In Vegas opened with LSU minus 3.5, but apparently so much money got thrown. It's now Vanderbilt minus 2.5, which is just mind-blowing to me. And that scares me in a bad kind of way because Vegas is begging you to take LSU money line, meaning they kind of know something, and that means we don't know something. So that is my one big pause for hesitation.
Why is it mind-blowing to you that Vanderbilt would be favored?
It's Vanderbilt, you know what I mean? Right. And look, this is certainly their best team in 70 years or whatever, and quality football team. I like what Diego Pavia is doing. The talent across the board, LSU probably has an advantage in many positions. Vanderbilt did get blown out by Alabama, and LSU's defense is still what it is. And the fact that LSU's offense was starting to show some positive progress, all that led me to think that LSU should be a touchdown favorite. And I'm still going to stick with that for my pick, but I'd be lying if I say that money, that minus 2.5 isn't giving me a lot of hesitation.
How about the injuries on LSU's front seven with Weeks, Relaford, Butler? How does that, Gooden too?
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
Yeah, well, first off, Relaford's been out for a while, and they seem to be doing all right. Dylan Carpenter is taking some good snaps there, and you had Patrick Payton. So your defensive end spot, that one doesn't really worry me because I really think you can go 6 deep with quality guys there, right? Now, you'd like to keep them a little fresh and rotate them in and out. What gives me more concern is Bernard Gooden, who has just been an absolute stud anchor of this team so far, but you should be okay. Problem is both those positions, you're getting to the point where it's like if you get much more thinner, you're losing some quality reps for sure. You're going to have to put some guys who maybe there's going to be some drop off in production. Okay. And what gives me even more concerned than that is what Weeks being listed as questionable and walking around with a boot this week. He'll probably play, but will he be 100%?
Yeah, the bone bruise is concerning. It sounds like that's generally something that sidelines folks for a couple of weeks. We'll see if Witt tries to give it a go on Saturday. What are your other impressions of this Vanderbilt team with Pavia and kind of the option attack and the deliberate pace that they play with? We saw them in Tiger Stadium last year. Like, how do you feel LSU matches up?
Yeah, I think that it's a scrappy team. The thing is, Diego Pavia is also doing a lot better passing this year than he was a year ago. So that's more of a dynamic, harder to stop element, whereas last year they were very, very scrappy in their offense. So it still has a lot of scrap to it, that just toughness, that you have to play disciplined ball, all the things you were mentioning just there. But overall, I mean, let's say I've been seeing a lot of foolish memes comparing them to 2019 LSU team on the internet this week, which is just levels of madness I don't even care to address. But it's not like you're facing this dynamic vertical passing attack threat out there, which, it tends to be a little harder to stop, because you eventually got to put someone on a dynamic receiver and stop them. Whereas if you just play your disciplined assignment ball and you can stop the short game, this Vanderbilt offense will start to look very clunky.
Yeah, I mean, they're good at what they do, but that's really their only pitch. They want to go slow. They want to run the ball. They want to control the clock and convert short third downs. If you can put them behind the sticks, they generally will struggle. So sounds like you think that LSU's in good shape to win tomorrow. If they do so, I mean, it kind of sets up next Saturday at home at night with A&M, and kind of all your goals are right there on the table. I realize there's been a lot of negativity around the program, around the city, around the message boards and the internet, but you're close to having everything right in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is clearly a pivotal point in this season where things can go down real bad or they can go up real quickly. I mean, you beat Vanderbilt, you've got everything on the table, and basically you have to split Bama and Texas A&M. Of course, you have to beat Oklahoma, but I would say that that's an easier task than the two I just mentioned. You're probably going to have to pull an upset. But if you win this, you're in good shape. If you lose this game, however, that's a bad omen. I mean, you might be staring at 7-5 square in the face if you lose this game. So I think there's a lot of pressure. In fact, I would argue the thought that came to mind, if you lose this game, could it potentially be a spot where you're looking at, well, this is where things went wrong for this era. That's the kind of thoughts you begin to have. So I would argue a lot of pressure to not lose this game.
I kind of said the same thing last week at home against South Carolina, and I think it does prove true again this weekend on the road in Nashville. He's Preston Guy, TigerBait.com, with us on Fridays. Thanks, man.
All right, talk to you soon.
Sure will. Check out all his stuff over there at TigerBait.com. Friday show is brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. We will step aside, take a timeout, and when we come back, we'll set you up for the NFL Sunday slate, and got some I found enlightening numbers about where opposing teams are throwing against LSU. We'll get to those with the NFL slate next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Need security services you can count on? With Veteran Security Services, you're always protected. Locally owned and proudly serving the Gulf Coast, they're not some big national firm chasing profits. They're neighbors protecting neighbors. From petrochemical plants and healthcare facilities to port and maritime operations, Veteran Security delivers reliable protection you can trust. Choose community. Choose confidence. Choose Veteran Security Services. Visit veteransecurityfirm.com.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Trust isn't given, it's earned by showing up, leading the way, and performing at your best when it matters most. Our Lady of the Lake sports medicine experts know what it takes to improve performance and build champions at every level. That's why LSU chose Our Lady of the Lake as its championship health partner, trusting Louisiana's best medical team to care for our state's best athletes. From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
I trust the lake.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builders School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Feels like a great day for a big shrimp po' boy, right? If you're looking for a po' boy in the Baton Rouge area, Corks, where you need to check out just a full overstuffed shrimp po' boy, fully dressed, got the crispy shoestring fries. It's good stuff. If you're looking for a po' boy in Baton Rouge, highly suggest you check out Corks. I can make a catfish one, and I like a catfish po' boy. I'm not here to disparage the catfish po' boy. I'm just here to elevate the shrimp po' boy. That's where the money is made. That's where my bread is buttered, quite literally. And so I love a shrimp po' boy, and Corks has a great one. So go check them out. Government between Foster and Jefferson. They bring you our Football Friday shows every single week. Another thing we do every Friday. Get you ready for NFL on Sunday. Let's do it. All right, Tier 4. This is the worst action of NFL Sunday, and there are a couple of clunkers. Dolphins at the Browns. Yeesh. The Dolphins have been outgained by 602 yards this year. It has been a rough go and feels like the end is near for that coaching staff. But the Browns don't ever score. Can their offense do anything in this game against a Dolphins defense that is 29th in the NFL in terms of points per game allowed? I have my doubts when it comes to the Browns on offense. That's going to be some ugly football in Cleveland. Panthers at the Jets. That's also just not great. However, the Panthers are looking for their first 3-game winning streak since 2021. That'd be a nice, impressive accomplishment. And they're playing a winless team. They could get it. Garrett Wilson for the Jets, not going to play. But you're probably not going to watch. So we'll move on to tier number 3. The Patriots are at the Titans. Kind of not a welcome back for Mike Vrabel, as we talked about earlier this week. The Patriots are on the road for the 3rd straight week. They're 2-0 so far on that 3 straight road game slate. Of course, one of those was in New Orleans. The Titans are 0-10 against the spread in their last 10 home games. 0-10 in their last 10 home games. That's one shy of the NFL record set by the 88-89 Cowboys, which was the beginning of a dynasty in Dallas. Maybe we don't realize it, and you're looking at a potential dynasty there in Tennessee. I have my doubts. The Raiders are at the Chiefs. Rashee Rice back from his suspension, 6 games. Ashton Jeanty, 4th in the NFL in rushing. If you look at since week 4, the Raiders 4-0 against the spread when they are a 10-plus point underdog since 2022, and they're a 12.5-point dog at Arrowhead. The Giants are at the Broncos. Denver has a ridiculous pass rush. They lead the NFL in sacks. They've got 30. Second place has 20. They are 10 clear of everyone else in the NFL. They have a pass rush win rate of 46%. And now you look at playing a rookie quarterback. They've done that recently this year. They played against Cam Ward, held him to 112 passing yards, and sacked him 6 times. Could be a rough go for Jackson Dart at Mile High. All right, Tier 2. This is the good stuff. We got 4 games in Tier 2. The Eagles are at the Vikings. The Eagles have lost back-to-back games for the first time since 2023. The Vikings coming off of a bye. And the Vikings also 3-0 against the spread as home dogs over the last 2 years. They are a home dog in this game on Sunday. See if the Eagles can avoid a 3rd straight loss. The Commanders are at the Cowboys, NFC East showdown. Dallas leads the NFL in total offense, and Washington is 26th in the NFL on defense, and Washington's coming off a short week. I don't love this spot for the Commanders going on the road. Hopefully Jaden can put a Superman cape on there in the Lone Star State. Packers are at the Cardinals. Low-key good game here. Jordan Love, 15 games with multiple touchdown passes and no interceptions since 2023. That is tied for the most in the NFL. He's played well. The Cardinals have been okay this year, just a game under 500, but they've been a functional team. They're at home. We'll see what they can do in that NFC showdown. The Falcons are at the 49ers. You got Christian McCaffrey. You got Bijan Robinson, the 2 most productive running backs in the National Football League, squaring off big for fantasy owners in this one. George Kittle back for San Francisco. They're in San Francisco against the Falcons. Let's go to Tier 1. Got 2 games that are the best 2 games of the weekend. The Rams are playing the Jags in London, so it's a morning kickoff in Tier 1. That is rare. Considering what we gave Europe last week, they'll take this one for sure. Trevor Lawrence was sacked 6 times against Seattle, and the Rams' defensive line is absolutely loaded. I like the Rams to get after the Jags in this game. I like the Rams to win it as well. And then in Tier 2, the second game, the Colts are at the Chargers. Jim Harbaugh, coaching the Chargers, facing his old team, the Colts. His Chargers, 16-7 against the spread over the last 2 years. That is tied for the Lions for the best in the NFL. And Tyler Warren, off to a really good start there for the Colts. He leads all tight ends in the NFL with 370 receiving yards to this point in the calendar. Had Brock Bowers setting records last year. Tyler Warren trying to do the same this year for the Colts. That's it for your look around the National Football League. I wanted to talk a little bit about LSU secondary play, and I thought this would be a good place to do it right after getting you ready for the NFL slate. I was looking at targets today, and we know that Mansour Delane has played phenomenal football. He's been so good for LSU out at corner, and I wanted to see if teams are shying away from him because it felt that way against Ole Miss, and then you heard on the telecast the broadcast team say, the Ole Miss coaching staff told us that Mansour Delane is as good a corner as they've seen in the country. They're not going to go that way. So I looked it up. Here are Mansour Delane's targets. Times he was thrown at. Against Clemson, 8 times. Against Tech, 4 times. Against Florida, 6 times. So in the first 3 weeks, first 3 games, that's 18 targets. Since then, 3 games, same sample size, 18, 4. 0 against Southeastern, 2 against Ole Miss, 2 against South Carolina. One of them was on the 4th and 4 where he knocked it away. So in the first 3 weeks, 18 targets. Last 3 weeks, 4. What does that mean for P.J. Woodland and DJ Pickett? Well, I'll tell you. Over the last 3 weeks, where Mansour Delane has seen 4 targets, those 2 guys have combined for 18. 18-4, it's been flipped. And we talked to P.J. Woodland about that earlier this week, and he was like open about it. He showed up on campus, PJ Woodland did, at 150 pounds. 150 pounds. And he started the second game of his career a little bit north of that weight. He said 150 something. Started against Nichols in game 2 last year. And so now he's up to 170. His goal is 175. And I thought he's played well. They're going at it. He had a pick in the game against Ole Miss. And I'll tell you this about PJ Woodland. He's 170 pounds. He's played a lot of his college football around 160, 165 pounds. He's not scared. Like, that's a dude who will get in there. He'll be physical. He'll mix it up. It's hard to do at that weight, but he doesn't shy away from it. Like, I think some people might, because you realize that you're in a fight you shouldn't probably be in. And so Pickett and Woodland are going to be major, major keys for LSU moving forward, because when you look at these numbers and you realize that you're talking about 18 targets to 4 against Southeastern, Ole Miss, and South Carolina, that's not something that is a coincidence. That's something that opposing coaching staffs have determined and have put into their game plan. And this is part of being DBU. This is part of having elite players in the secondary. Once you get one and he's playing at that level, it puts pressure on the other guys. And they're going to welcome it. They're both thin, but they're both physical enough. They've both got really good ball skills. We asked Garrett Nussmeier about throwing against those guys in August, and he talked about how PJ's got a great knack of playing the ball, and he's excited to see him move forward. I've got a whole piece up about it at LouisianaSports.net. But I don't know how big a deal it is this week when you talk about a Vanderbilt team that is very, very much ball control and is throwing the ball around the line of scrimmage a lot. And a lot of the things they do are play action and dump offs and screens and half rollouts and short, quick game. And it's more about making sure you tackle guys around the line of scrimmage than actually covering down the field more often than not. But when you play Ty Simpson in Alabama, when you play Taylon Green in Arkansas, when you play those teams, I feel like because they're going to have a heavy passing load built into the game plan and they're going to try to stretch the field. I know Bobby Petrino wants to stretch the field. I know that they want to do that in Tuscaloosa with Ty Simpson. That all of a sudden is going to put a lot of pressure on these young corners that are pretty small. And we're already seeing that. An FCS team, a Lane Kiffin offense that's really diverse and talented, a Mike Shula offense that stinks. You're seeing all different spectrums. FCS overmatched, Lane Kiffin really talented, Mike Shula disaster. All of them have made the decision, find 11, go that way, find 3, go that way. If you see 4, throw it the other way. Except Mike Shula on 4th and 4 with the game in the balance in Tiger Stadium. He throws at 4. He throws an incompletion broken up by the best corner in the country. That's coaching malpractice, but we don't have to get into that anymore. Teams aren't going to do that very much. And so DJ Pickett and PJ Woodland are going to have to be instrumental in what LSU does on defense moving forward. And it may have to start, especially if you get a lead and Vanderbilt's got to throw the ball tomorrow when LSU and Vanderbilt do battle. Speaking of that, let me set you up for the day, and we'll come back and talk a little Saints and Bears. So it's a different schedule for us here at Guarantee for an 11 o'clock kickoff. 7 o'clock, Eagle 98.1 game day right here in this Raising Cane studio. 7 o'clock a.m. Musso, Hanny, getting you ready for 2 hours this time, not 3. So they'll go 7 to 9. I'll take over on the LSU Sports Radio Network pregame show at 9 o'clock. I'll go till about 10:15 or so. Until about 10:45 or so. And that's when we'll throw to the broadcast team. 30 minutes after the game goes final, I'll come on with Brandon and Marlon. We'll talk LSU and Vanderbilt for about an hour. 90 minutes after the game goes final for 3 hours from Rouse's, Burbank, and Lee, Charles Handegriff and Richard Dixon on Eagle 98.1 game day. So 7 a.m. here for 2 hours, then me on the network for 90 minutes, me on the network for an hour post-game. 90 minutes after the game goes final from Rouse's, Burbank, and Lee, Hanny and Richard Dixon, Eagle 98.1 postgame, taking your phone calls after LSU and Vanderbilt. So we're on at 7 until probably somewhere about 8 p.m. Tomorrow night for your full Eagle game day coverage. So looking forward to that from Nashville. All right, let's step aside. Come back. I'll pick Saints Bears next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club, swingeasygcbr.com is that website, swingeasygcbr.com. Looking to work on your game? Well, we know that the months that come, it gets dark a little earlier. We know that it gets cold at times. Rain may happen. It's just not conducive to to hitting some balls sometimes. Well, that doesn't matter at Swing Easy Golf Club because it's inside. You work on one of their simulators in a private bay. Can be just you working on your game, can be some friends if you want to tag along. You put it on that driving range setting. You can see your carry distance. You can see your ball speed. You can watch the slow-mo impact camera of your club face hitting the ball. I found that really helpful. I saw that when I was hooking the ball, which you'll see on the simulator, and I do quite frequently, I can see that I was catching the ball in the heel of the club a little bit and smothering it. That was helpful feedback. I could move a little bit further from the ball and try to prevent that. Those are the things you can do to work on your game at Swing Easy Golf Club. If you hate going to the driving range because they got scuffed balls, it costs too much money, and you can't tell because the wind's blowing or there's no grass, Swing Easy Golf Club can help you out if you want to work on your game. Swing Easy GCBR, they are on Segan at Perkins. Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge.
When it comes to pipe fabrication, time is money. And at River Parish Contractors, we make every second count. Our 36,000 square foot shop is ready to take on your projects right now. With experienced welders, precise fittings, and fast turnarounds you can trust. Whether it's a single custom spool or a full-scale run, we have the capacity and the skill to keep your job on schedule. Call us or visit rpcontractors.com for your quote. That's rpcontractors.com. These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builders School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 90.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
All right, wrapping up hour number 1. Lots to do in hour number 2. We'll pick SEC games against the spread coming up in 10 minutes. Saints and Bears from the lakefront in beautiful Chicago, Illinois, coming up on Sunday at noon. I've talked about this game a lot this week. There have been a lot of storylines, kind of dripping with storylines from the rivalry perspective. You've got Dennis Allen facing a team where he was the head coach and then the defensive coordinator previously. You've got Kendre Miller trying to work against him. And then you've got the quarterbacks who went to Oklahoma, and eventually Spencer Rattler was beaten out by Caleb Williams and left, and then Caleb Williams left. But I feel like that probably left a sour taste in Spencer Rattler's mouth when he was was moved on from at a spot that was just producing Heisman winners year over year. There are lots of stories like that, but ultimately this is just a football game, and it's a football game between two teams that are searching to take steps. The Bears feel like they're searching to take a couple of steps towards the top of the NFC with a coach they love and a quarterback who's in his second year who's helped them win 3 games in a row. The Saints are trying to climb out of the cellar, and that's what you're getting. I believe the Saints are walking into a very difficult environment on Sunday. The city of Chicago has not had a Bears winner in some time. Since the double doink a few years ago in the playoffs where they had a great defense with a very suspect offense, they've really been searching. And the Saints are searching now for what their identity is going to be as an organization moving forward now that the whole thing has been transformed. I told you on Thursday's show that the Saints simply had to get after what I consider to be a very mediocre Chicago offensive line, specifically at the tackle spots. Chase Young, Carl Granderson, like those guys have got to be impact guys coming off the edge and making Caleb Williams uncomfortable. That's a must for the Saints. They have not been great in coverage. They were not very good in coverage last week. And you've given up multiple touchdown passes in 8 straight games, which is the longest active streak in the NFL. You've got to cover a little bit better. And when you can't cover great, well, go get the passer. And that's what the Saints are going to need to do in this game. Offensively, the Bears are an interesting defensive case because they were atrocious against Detroit in week 2. I'm not trying to compare the Saints to Detroit. You can't. But they were bad against Las Vegas in the next game on the ground, but Caleb Williams got them to the finish line. I think this game, to me, ends up close. I do. The Saints have played close games with everybody except Seattle. And Chicago is close to the middle of the SEC. The SEC, that's quite a slip, of the NFL. They're close to the middle of the NFL. And the Saints have punched against teams in the middle of the NFL, I think. And I think they'll punch on Sunday. Can they make a couple plays down the field? When that big play comes, Chris Olave's got to make it. When that big play comes, Spencer Rattler's got to make that throw. And you're going to have to run the ball a little bit as well. I'm hitting a lot of areas, but the truth of the matter is, and I was asked this question on a New Orleans radio spot earlier this week, and it was a big picture question, and I basically just said, the Saints' margin for error is so small that it's hard to come up with a key to the game because they kind of have to do everything. Because if one of their weaknesses really slips, it's just a nightmare because you don't have a strength to counteract it. So you kind of have to cover all your bases. Like special teams just cratered in Seattle, and they didn't have anything to rectify it with. The offense is not going to go out there and cover for that. The defense is not going to just stymie people. It's not going to happen. So it really comes down to the Saints have to do a lot of everything very well. I'm looking at picks from ESPN, and I'm seeing a 35-27. I'm seeing them 40-17. I'm seeing a 23-20. The number on this game is interesting. The Bears are 4.5-point favorites. Seems like you're looking at a team that's 1-5 against a team that has won 3 games in a row, and you think that maybe in Chicago it should be better. And again, I think it's going to be a hornet's nest for the Saints to go into, but I don't worry about Spencer Rattler handling that. He hasn't been awesome this year, but he certainly hasn't gotten overwhelmed. So I think he'll come in with a good plan. And the Bears still have issues in the front 7 on defense and issues in the front of their offense. And here's what I keep going back to. Chicago just hasn't been able to trust the Bears. And there's got to be a reason for that. Now, maybe Ben Johnson's changing it all. Maybe Caleb Williams is changing it all. But Luke Johnson felt this way when we talked to him yesterday. He'll be up in Chicago covering it, and I kind of agree. This is going to come down to a really close game in the fourth quarter, I think. I think the Saints are in it. And I believe that the city of Chicago is just kind of destined for some heartbreak with this team. It just feels that way. That's the way it's been for years and years and years and years. And I think more of it's coming on Sunday. I'm going to pick the New Orleans Saints to win the game on Sunday by a score of 18-17.
I love this. I didn't think you was going this way. You had me in the first half. You got me in the second half.
I think the Saints get it done by pressuring Caleb Williams. I think they get a couple of turnovers in this game. It's not high-flying. It's sloppy. It's ugly. The Saints kind of drag him down into the mud. Ben Johnson wants to be high-flying. He wants to be all over the place scoring 40 points. That's what he's used to. I don't think that's coming in this game. I think the Saints will have a plan. I think the Bears are coming off a short week, and I like the Saints to get it done in this game on Sunday. Boy, might I look dumb on Monday. But we're going to make that call here on this
You're
Football
not going to look
Friday.
dumb, Hound. We already got 5 losses. You're not going to look dumb. It's just it'll be another one in the books.
Who that's 18-17. Give me the Saints on Sunday. I
love it.
On the lakefront. All right, that's a fast-moving hour number 1. They always are on these Football Fridays. You missed it, you can catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. Just search on Palmer Show. Talked about Vanderbilt in the first segment there, specifically their defense and how LSU may try to attack what Clark Lee's group has in mind. Preston Guy was with us from TigerBait.com at 1:15. You can find those Hunt on LSU, YouTube, wherever you find your sound. We set the table for the NFL slate on Sunday a little earlier in the second hour. Of course, we got Take It or Leave It. That's brought to you by Flight by Yingling. My SEC picks against the spread are coming up after SportsCenter. And I also got to make my LSU Vanderbilt pick coming up 1 hour from right now. So don't go anywhere. It's a Football Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show presented by Corks.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com is that website. Captives. Love telling you about captives. If you are a business owner, if you are a CFO, if you are in the risk management department, wherever you may be in your organization, if you're handling insurance costs and you just feel like you're drowning a little bit every time the renewal shows up, have you looked into a captive? Not every broker has the ability to place you in a captive. But the Highland Insurance Group is an independent broker that does handle captives every day. You've got to qualify. Your loss history's got to be good. You've got to have a high premium. You've got to have quality risk management in place. And if you do fit, it can be a game changer for your business's bottom line. It's just a matter of qualifying and making sure your broker can get you in front of it. And that's what the Highland Insurance Group can do. So I invite you to reach out to the Highland Insurance Group. They're here in Baton Rouge. You can find them at HighlandIG.com. Say, hey, I'm looking for a captive. Can you help me out? Jonathan Carbo and his team can do that. It's the Highland Insurance Group. They're online at HighlandIG.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient. And you will have your pool in no time.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Ed Benkin. It's another busy day of League Championship Series play in Major League Baseball. First up, Game 5 of the ALCS between the Mariners and Blue Jays from Seattle. The series is tied at 2 games apiece, but Toronto has won the last 2. Seattle manager Dan Wilson says his team will get a boost out of the bullpen from Brian Wu.
Brian's going to be available out of the pen, and I think that's the plan here going forward. And he's in good spot. He's feeling good, and I think at this point that's where we're going to see him coming out of the pen.
You can hear the game on ESPN Radio with our coverage getting underway at 5:30 Eastern. Later tonight, the Dodgers will look to punch their ticket to the World Series as they host the Brewers in Game 4 of the NLCS, holding a commanding 3-0 lead. Our coverage on ESPN Radio gets underway from L.A. at 8 Eastern. NFL injury news. Rams receiver Puka Nacua is out for Sunday's game against Jacksonville in London. He continues to deal with an ankle injury. The Cowboys want to have cornerback Trey Diggs when they face the Commanders. A home accident has put Diggs in concussion protocol. Meanwhile, Washington will be without receiver Terry McLaurin. He continues to deal with a quad injury. The Titans will have receiver Calvin Ridley against the Patriots.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ Chris Candy coming up Monday from the NFL to college football and, of course, Major League Baseball playoffs. And I'll recap it all in my Upon Further review at 7 a.m. Eastern. It's Unsportsmanlike, weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Waiting to rise again.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Quirks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. Last hour of the week for us. Glad you are here for it. I want to give a special shout out to the Thibodaux Golden Tigers Club. They had me down to Bayou last night. Great evening and an awesome venue, an awesome event. Talked a lot of Tiger football with a lot of great people. It actually warmed my heart that a handful of people came up to me and told me that they were in Omaha this past year, and a couple said that they were there in 2023 as well. And it just, I get that a ton of people from Thibodaux are going to head up to Tiger Stadium on a Saturday night, but it always warms my heart to know just people from every corner of this state flood Omaha when LSU gets there in the summers. And so we had a great night down there in Thibodaux last night, and I appreciate them for having me. I look forward to my next visit down there in the future. Patrick Coogan down there as well, chatting as well. So we had a good time down in Thibodaux. All right, in hour 2, I want to talk LSU Vanderbilt. In the next segment, we got Take It or Leave as well. My final pick for LSU and Vanderbilt coming up at the end of the hour. I'm already really exposed here because I've selected the Saints to win a game, which I realize that could be something that I really regret on Monday. But I've followed the Bears long enough through my Cubs fan media connections that also talk about the Bears on their shows to know how much heartbreak that team causes that city. And I think there could be more on Sunday. So that's where I sit. Speaking of heartbreak, I have been utterly abysmal at picking Southeastern Conference football games. You look at my season-long total this year, 24-35 on the season. That is 11 games under 500. That is very, very bad. I look at the slate, and we'll get to it in a second, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got seven games to pick this week. We've got to have a winning week. It's got to be 5-2. There's got to be some progress made when it comes to these picks against the spread. I've done extensive research. I'm an expert handicapper, as is evidenced by my 24-35 record. So now it's time to crank it up and get games against the spread. All right, 11:45 SEC Network. LSU and Vanderbilt will be underway, and Oklahoma and South Carolina will do battle from Williams-Brice. Gamecocks catching 5.5 at home. Oklahoma does not run the ball very well. They're 13th in the SEC in running the ball, and Mateer looked terrible last week against Texas. Now, South Carolina is bad at everything. They're bad at everything. What I'm curious about is what Williams-Brice Stadium looks like at 12:45 local time for a 3-3 team that is grossly underachieving relative to expectations. That fan base is known to being loyal. If they are loyal and they do pack that place, I think they've got a chance to keep this thing close because Oklahoma looked atrocious last week with a hurt John Mateer. I'm going to trust the Gamecock fans against my better judgment because that team I watched in Tiger Stadium last week stunk. But I am going to take South Carolina plus the 5.5 at home. 2:30 on ESPN, Texas A&M at Arkansas, not in Jerry World, at Arkansas. 7.5 is the number here. Hogs getting those points in Fayetteville. Arkansas is 6th in the country in total offense and 6th in the country in yards per play. They are 17th in the country in rushing. They are 20th in the country in passing. They are 3rd in the country offensively converting third downs. These offensive numbers are fantastic for Bobby Petrino's group. That third down number is extremely interesting because while Arkansas is 3rd in the country on offense on third down, Texas A&M leads the country in third down defense. That's a huge stat in this game. Now, Texas A&M's been balanced, 21st in the country in total offense and 19th in total defense. I think Arkansas's fan base has quit. I think they're ready for the coaching search. Maybe they're fired up to go see Bobby Petrino's team play. I don't know, but I don't expect a great environment in Fayetteville tomorrow at 2:30 on ESPN. I think A&M's really good. I think A&M goes in there and covers the 7.5 points. Could be a backdoor cover situation because Arkansas can score, but I'll take A&M lay the 7.5. 2:30 on ABC, Ole Miss and Georgia. Man, this is a big one. LSU fans going to be watching this one, I'm sure, in a really good mood or a really bad mood. We'll see. It's a sandwich spot a little bit for Ole Miss last week against Washington State. They had LSU before that, and then a bye, and they had Georgia this week. Trinidad Chambliss' first road game here. He did not throw a pass at Kentucky, and at Georgia and at Kentucky, not the same. Chambliss hasn't played in an environment like this. Georgia has a good rushing defense, 17th nationally. And they held Jam Miller of Alabama to 46 yards on 16 carries. We know how much Ole Miss wants to run the ball. Lane Kiffin wants to run it. Georgia ran for 227 yards on 7 yards per carry against Alabama. And we know from previewing that game when LSU played Ole Miss, the Ole Miss run defense has some holes. We know Georgia is going to look to exploit those. Lane Kiffin called a great game against Georgia last year. They dominated them in Oxford. I think there's payback there. I think Georgia runs the ball for a lot of yards in this game. I will lay the 7.5 points this time with the home team with the Georgia Bulldogs. So in back-to-back, I'm laying 7.5. Mississippi State at Florida. What a weird week in Gainesville. Florida's a 9.5-point favorite, and everybody's reporting that their coach has already been fired, and it's just set to happen on Sunday. Mississippi State will be without Fluff Bothwell. He was carted off the field last week, so he's going to miss a significant amount of time. Mississippi State, 15th in the SEC in rushing defense. Now, you wouldn't think that Florida would be in position to exploit that. State's bad rushing defense. Florida's 14th in the SEC in rushing offense. But let's take a little closer look at Florida. They played Texas, 4th in the country in run D. LSU, 21st in the country in run D. A&M, 22nd in the country in run D. Miami, 14th in the country in run D. That's 4 teams in the top 22 in run defense that Florida has played. I think Jaden Ball is very good. I think he gets the ball a lot in this game. I think he runs the ball very well in this game. And I think that Florida covers the 9.5, and then I guess fires their coach? Seems like it. Texas at Kentucky, 13.5 is this number. How'd Arch Manning do against Oklahoma? Well, he won the game. 21 out of 27 for 166 yards. That is 8 yards per completion. With a long of 23, he threw 1 touchdown, was not intercepted. Kentucky lost 35-13 to South Carolina, who is just awful. Kentucky's got 2 wins. One of them was 24-16 over Toledo. Texas defense is very good. You're talking about a Texas defense that gave up 14 to Ohio State, 7 to San Jose State, 10 to UTEP, none to Sam Houston, 29 to Florida, that's your outlier, and then 6 to Oklahoma. So how many points does Texas give up to Kentucky if that's what they've done with those teams? I think like 10. So I need Texas to score 24. 24-10 covers. Texas, minus the points. I will take the Horns. Tennessee is at Alabama, 3rd Saturday in October. They better be. 7.5 is the number. Bama is favored in Tuscaloosa. The Vols have not won in Tuscaloosa since 2003, and that one took 5 overtimes. Now, Tennessee is number 2 in the country nationally in sacks, and Bama has allowed 13 sacks. Only 4 SEC teams have allowed more. Tennessee can rush the passer. Now, Bama is really good at pass defense, 3rd in the country. Tennessee can really throw it, 7th in passing offense nationally. Here's the factor that I'm looking at the closest. Bama's run defense has not been good. They are 95th overall in run defense and 115th in yards per carry allowed. 115th in yards per carry allowed. Tennessee wants to run the ball. Josh Heupel wants the ball. They will run the ball, and they will cover the 7.5 in Tuscaloosa. Give me the Vols plus 7.5 on the ground. And then the nightcap, 6:45 SEC Network. Missouri is at Auburn. Auburn is catching 1.5 on the Plains. Missouri held Bama to 325 yards, and Bama had the ball for 38 minutes of that game. That's not a lot of yards when you consider time of possession. Now, Auburn's offense is awful. 94th in scoring offense, 121st in passing offense, 127th in explosive plays over 20 yards, 127th out of 136. Auburn's offense is so bad. Missouri, minus 1.5 on the road. I've picked Auburn 20 weeks in a row, it feels like. I'm not this week. They're not good. They never win. They're not going to win against Missouri. Give me Missouri, minus 1.5. That is my look around the Southeastern Conference. For your ability to fade, if you want to write this stuff down, to take the opposite, which seems like a good idea. South Carolina plus 5.5, A&M minus 7.5, Georgia minus 7.5, Florida minus 9.5, Texas minus 13.5, Tennessee catching 7.5, and Missouri minus the 1.5. That's my look around the Southeastern Conference. Jordan Kitchens, how confident are you that I have made excellent picks in this segment, considering the fact that you listen to 10 hours of gambling talk every week between Jimmy and Charlie?
Well, Hunt, I'm not going to lie. Hearing your overall record definitely was
Jordan, we're not talking about my overall record. We're talking about these picks specifically. Yeah, work with me.
It's hard to work with these picks when I know what the rest of the year outlook has looked like. So when you're
letting the past dictate the present. We don't want that. We want
right.
the present.
We don't. Okay. Man. It's hard to. It's hard.
Did Jimmy pick any of these games?
Hunt, I'm gonna be real.
You're not listening.
No, it's not about listening. They give so many picks a week. It's like I have so many picks. I mean, we talking picks in Hawaii games and all this. Like,
I know.
So there's so many different picks. So many different handicappers. Matter of fact,
I got a good Hawaii story. My good buddy went to a small school on the East Coast.
Yes.
That didn't have a football team. Now, all the guys that he was friends with loved football.
Yes.
But they didn't have a team. So on Saturdays, when I was in college, we were all going to the game.
Yeah.
They never went to a game. They just sat in all day and bet on the games. That's all they did. And so you bet on the games, and if things are going poorly,
you got to chase the Hawaii.
You got to chase the Hawaii game. And they called it Eyes on the Island. You got eyes on the island. Eyes on the island. And sometimes it comes to that. You got an 11:45 kickoff. You're down for the day. You got to get it all back in one swing. Eyes on the island. I don't live that life, but I know many that do.
Oh, I know plenty of people that do. Especially, there's been plenty of times I heard Jimmy and them come in there and be like, "Yeah, the Hawaii game. I had to try and shake back on the Hawaii game."
But if you look at my weeks, I would have had eyes on the island plenty of times. Week 2, I went 2-9.
Oof.
That was very poor. The other ones have been fairly competitive. It's just right there on the 500 mark, but I always go one more loss.
What week was your best week?
I had a week where I was 6-5 the opening week.
Okay, that's good.
And then I had a 3-2 in week 6. But then you go, there's just a bunch of one game under 500s.
Yes.
2-4, 3-4, 4-5, 4-6. But then you've got week 2, 2-9. I mean, that's 7 games under 500 right there, and I'm 11 total.
Is LSU a culprit for? Because I
never picked the LSU game. I only picked the other games.
Okay, because I'm about to say they never cover, so it's like
well, let's hope some of these teams cover. As I've said, and we'll get back to LSU Vanderbilt in a second. Like if LSU can win on Saturday morning into early Saturday afternoon, like the slate that LSU fans have to watch the rest of the day in a good mood is awesome. You can catch A&M Arkansas and Ole Miss Georgia in the afternoon window.
Yeah.
Then you've got Alabama and Tennessee in the night window, and I think Missouri and Auburn is a sneaky good game as well night. So I think it could be a great Saturday for LSU fans. But if LSU goes out there and loses to Vanderbilt, you're not going to be able to choke these games down.
I'm nervous only because of how much Vanderbilt fans have been talking, and it's crazy because
there are no Vanderbilt fans.
Man, they've come out the wood. I've never seen this many of them out. Like they're like, oh yeah, LSU, they're living off 2019. They don't know what we got. They think. I'm like, okay, we're going to see. We're going to see.
2019 team scored, let me count the check, carry the number, 11,000 points at Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
So that's how and look, You saw last night, Jamar Chase, pretty good. It was nice of Joe Flacco to just decide, well, I'm new here in town, but I can throw it to number one. And he did throw it to number one a lot.
Hey, to preface this, 38 fantasy points. Not trying to brag. You know, I ain't trying to brag or nothing.
As I mentioned at the top of the segment, I was talking to the Thibodeau Golden Tigers, so I wasn't watching the game. I got home late last night, but my buddies were texting the group text like, Flacco's figured this out. He's just throwing it to one. He's got 12 catches in 3 quarters.
Oh, trust me. All I'm seeing is Jamar Chase slant, Jamar Chase slant, Jamar Chase slant. Fantasy team, bing, 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 bing.
We like that.
And you said Kittle's coming back?
He is.
We might be back in business.
All right, let's come back, talk LSU Vanderbilt next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge. GenesisofBatonRouge.com is the website. Every car that's on the lot is online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com. Looking to rent a car? You can rent a vehicle from Genesis. Might be your first time behind the wheel of a Genesis. You say, hey, I hear Hunt talk about that every day. Maybe I ought to try it out. You will not be disappointed. It is a luxury brand and a luxury experience at a reasonable price. You walk onto the dealership lot, you're going to be approached by a salesperson, not going to be pushy, not going to be aggressive, not going to upsell you. They're going to treat you like a guest, and they're going to get you behind the wheel that you're looking for that makes the most sense for you. You can start that process online at GenesisOfBatonRouge.com. You can finish it online. Have them come to you for a test drive. Have that car delivered to you, e-contract. You never set foot on the lot. Just part of the experience of being a Genesis driver. And every single model in the line, all of them, IHA top safety picks, all of them. So you know when you get behind the wheel of a Genesis, you're getting behind the wheel of one of the safest cars on the road. It's Genesis of Baton Rouge. They're on airline at PQ. GenesisOfBatonRouge.com.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
Need security services you can count on? With Veteran Security Services, you're always protected. Locally owned and proudly serving the Gulf Coast, they're not some big national firm chasing profits. They're neighbors protecting neighbors. From petrochemical plants and healthcare facilities to port and maritime operations, Veteran Security delivers reliable protection you can trust. Choose community. Choose confidence. Choose Veteran Security Services. Visit veteransecurityfirm.com.
While Louisiana politics can seem like they're from another planet, Moon Griffon isn't afraid to bring politicians back down to earth. Listen to the Moon Griffon Show weekday mornings at 9 on Talk 107.3.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website, LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net, powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Children's School.
Make your backyard.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Friday. Friday show is brought to you by Cork's Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. Highly, highly suggest if you're having a crew over to the house tomorrow to watch the LSU game right around lunchtime, you're looking to feed a whole host, and you don't want to go nuts in the kitchen, Cork's is happy to help. They'll get you a big old tray of the fried shrimp, big old tray of the fried catfish, some shoestring fries, honey butter rolls. They got your slaw as well. They can get all the sauces your heart desires, your classic cocktail tartar sauce, but also got Cork sauce. They can get you some ketchup as well. You will not regret it. They are fantastic at catering. Their recipe for their fried seafood, born right here in the seafood capital of the world, South Louisiana, and they're happy to help you with that. But not just game-watching parties on the weekend. They're feeding the lunch to the office, doing a lunch and learn, or having a birthday party, feeding a crowd for a high school football on a Friday. Cork's happy to help you with catering right there. Government between Foster and Jefferson. Online, you can find the entire menu, including the catering options, at corksfishandshrimp.com. I've talked a lot about Vanderbilt this week. And I think I've made myself abundantly clear on how I feel about this team. I think their statistics are inflated by a terrible schedule, and I think they're pretty good. I think both of those things can be very true. I don't think that's inflammatory. I think it's pretty reasonable. And I have spent more time looking at the Alabama statistics and looking at the Alabama highlights than I have whatever they did against South Carolina with no Sellers, or whatever they did against Charleston Southern, or a Virginia Tech team that fired their coach and is in free fall. And, I mean, Virginia Tech's two best players play for LSU, okay? So I just don't really care about those games. I care about the Bama game. And I came away from watching Vanderbilt against Alabama going, they went to Tuscaloosa. They played them head up. I know the score didn't show that, but I think when you look at the flow of the game, it did. Red zone turnovers are absolutely killer, especially on the road. Vanderbilt had 2 of them in that game, and Alabama scored inside 30 seconds to go to add a touchdown to the lead. So I think Vanderbilt played with Bama. And so I was studying those statistics, and I talked about Vanderbilt's offense yesterday and what they want to do. And what Vanderbilt wants to do is run the ball for short gains, stay ahead of the chains, bleed the clock, shorten the game, and win something close. And they did it against Alabama last year, and they kept some other games close, including LSU, including Texas. It's what they've done, and that's what they want to do. Pavia gets all the headlines. Pavia is the face of the program. Pavia makes all the highlight reel plays. But Diego Pavia is not built to sit back there and hum it on 3rd and 8. We know this. They want to run the ball. So I wanted to go to the statistics and go, okay, well, how did they run it against Alabama? And against Alabama, they ran it for 135 yards and a touchdown. 135 yards and a touchdown. They had a 65-yarder. That was the touchdown. And beyond that, 18 carries, 70 yards. Nice day at the office. Nothing eye-catching, nothing crazy, which is kind of what Vanderbilt's looking for. They're not built to hit the home run. They're built to get 5 yards at a time, to get 4 yards at a time, to set up 3rd and short where they can convert on 3rd and short. That's what they do. They're second in the country in 3rd down offense. I've talked about this. And that on its face looks pretty good. And then I did some more research. Alabama run defense. 15 years, they were the best in the country. Best in the country. They're not right now. Bama's run defense is 95th in the country. Bama's run defense in terms of yards per carry allowed is 115th in the country. LSU is 21st. Look at what Alabama's run defense is allowed. I know LSU's not playing Alabama, but this is the one game I'm basing Vanderbilt's running game on. Florida State ran for 230 and 4 touchdowns on Alabama. Georgia ran for 227 and 2 touchdowns on Alabama. Missouri ran for 163 and a touchdown on Alabama. Alabama's gotten beat on the ground. And Vanderbilt's numbers weren't as good as Florida State's, weren't as good as Missouri's, were not as good as Georgia's. That kind of points me towards, well, did they run it great? And they certainly didn't throw it awesome, 198 yards and a touchdown with a pick. That gives me pause because I think LSU's running defense is better than Alabama's. Now, let me put a caveat in that. I have not seen LSU's run defense with no Gabe Relaford and no Bernard Gooden and no Whit Weeks and no Jamari Butler. And I might see that tomorrow. I might not, but I might. And that might change the way that things look. But I think LSU's run defense is better than Alabama's. And Vanderbilt was just okay against Alabama. We'll see what they are against LSU. This gives me some confidence in this game. I do have to account for the fact that the Bama game was in Tuscaloosa and this is in Nashville. And I don't give Vanderbilt any credit for a home crowd, but it's not a road crowd. It's not in Tiger Stadium. It's not in Tuscaloosa. But when I look at the one game that carries weight to me, which is Bama, and then I realize that Bama's been bad against the run, and that's what Vanderbilt wants to do. And statistically, they lead the country in yards per carry, and statistically, they're as good as anybody at rushing touchdowns. And statistically, they're as good as anybody is setting up short third downs. And statistically, they're as good as anybody on third downs. And all these things start to add up, and I'm going, well, does LSU change that equation? Does LSU's defense change the way that looks? And it's possible because you look at the, if we're going to talk about LSU's offense and say, well, yeah, but you only scored 20 points against South Carolina, I've got to look at Vanderbilt's offense and go, well, you scored 14 against Alabama. You scored 14. And Bama's pass defense is good, but LSU's got Mansour Delane and A.J. Halsey out there. They've got P.J. Woodland and DJ Pickett making plays. Like, I think LSU's defense is better than Bama's. And you scored 14 on Bama. That's interesting. It's interesting because if Vanderbilt cannot win first down, cannot win second down, they've got no chance on third down. I'll be stunned if Diego Pavia pulls a Jordan Travis from 2 years ago, from 3 years ago as well, when LSU got him into third down just constantly. Boom, completion, Johnny Wilson. Boom, completion, Keon Coleman. Boom, run for 9 yards, first down. LSU couldn't get off the field against Jordan Travis. I don't see that from Pavia. I think LSU's strength in this game plays like a strength. I think LSU's strength in this game makes life a little bit difficult for Vanderbilt. Question is, on the other side, does LSU score enough points to make it stand up? It's been in question at Clemson. Been in question against Florida. Been in question against South Carolina, and certainly was in question in Oxford. But when I look at Vanderbilt's offense and what they want to do, I think they're pretty good at doing what they want to do. I think they haven't seen what LSU's defense is bringing for bear, assuming it's relatively full strength. And the guys that do have to fill in for some of the injured players maintain that level of play. And that's easier said than done. But those Bama run defense stats, that's like one layer further. I look at all this stuff with Vanderbilt, and then you see, okay, what is everybody else doing? And I get to the Bama stats, and I go, oh, their defense is not very good against the run. That's all Vanderbilt does. Okay. We'll see what they can do against purple and gold. I think it's interesting. Coming up on Saturday morning in Nashville, just after 11 o'clock, they will kick things off 11:05 from Memorial Stadium. Get you set up for the game day. It's a little bit different on this Saturday than most. Generally speaking, Charles Handy and Matt Musso do Eagle on 8.1 game day 5 hours before kickoff from Rouse's on Burbank. Not tomorrow, 7 a.m. right here in studio. Not going to send them out to the grocery store at 6 o'clock in the morning. Not the greatest idea for the radio broadcast. So Musso and Haney, 7 a.m. right here in studio. Then they will hand it off to me on the LSU Sports Radio Network at 9 o'clock. I will go from 9 until about 10:45. That's when we toss it to the broadcast team in Nashville. That is Gordy Rush, Jacob Hester, and the voice of the Tigers, Chris Blair. 30 minutes after it goes final, me, Brandon Taylor, Marlon Favorite, Fighting Tiger postgame report on the LSU Sports Radio Network. 90 minutes after the game goes final from Rouse's, Burbank, and Lee, Charles Handy and Richard Dixon taking your phone calls for 3 hours on postgame. So start your morning with us at 7 a.m., Eagle 98.1 game day, and we're with you for LSU football all the way until after 8 o'clock p.m. tomorrow. Full day of football. Appreciate you being a part of it with us here at the Guarantee family of radio stations. When we come back, got some take it or leave it, some national college football, some local football, and then we got my pick on LSU and Vanderbilt coming up in 22 or so minutes. It's a Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, Ice Cubes.
When it comes to pipe fabrication, time is money. And at River Parish Contractors, we make every second count. Our 36,000 square foot shop is ready to take on your projects right now. With experienced welders, precise fittings, and fast turnarounds you can trust. Whether it's a single custom spool or a full-scale run, we have the capacity and the skill to keep your job on schedule. Call us or visit rpcontractors.com for your quote. That's rpcontractors.com.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Trust isn't given, it's earned by showing up, leading the way, and performing at your best when it matters most. Our Lady of the Lake sports medicine experts know what it takes to improve performance and build champions at every level. That's why LSU chose Our Lady of the Lake as its championship health partner, trusting Louisiana's best medical team to care for our state's best athletes. From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
I trust the lake.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Friday show is brought to you by Corks. I gotta think that Dennis Allen, if he even considers this stuff at this point, now he's not a head coach, but if he sees the injury report this week, he's got to be thinking, you got to be kidding me. Because we're now 6 weeks in the NFL season, and the Saints have Isaac Yiadom is questionable with a hamstring. John Ridgeway coming off IR with a shoulder, questionable. And then Alontae Taylor, Chris Olave, Alvin Kamara, Devon Godshaw, all good to go. On the Saints are almost completely healthy, which never happened in the Dennis Allen era.
Coincidence? I think not.
You think not?
I think
You're blaming
not.
DA for the injuries?
I remember came in, he was like, we're not doing dynamic stretches around here. We gotta clean this up. So I think not.
Saints injury report looks clean if you're looking for an update on that today and tomorrow, as well as Sunday morning for inactives. Ross Jackson's got you covered over at louisianasports.net. He'll be covering Saints and Bears coming up on Sunday from the lakefront in Chicago. I picked it earlier and picked the Saints to win the game, which is an interesting pick. We'll see if it works out.
We got you.
All right, we'll see. Let's play some Take It or Leave It.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Presented to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer, crafted by America's oldest brewery. Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. Look, it's after 2:30 on a Friday. You're not getting anything done at work. You're headed home, want to blow off a little bit of steam from a work week. Flight by Yingling is an awesome opportunity to do that. It is cold. It is refreshing. It is light and crisp. Everything you're looking for in a light beer, including phenomenal beer flavor. If you're looking for a light beer, might be having a couple tonight. Just go where you normally go to get your alcohol, and then just grab the next box over. Flight by Yingling. It's the next generation of light beer.
Okay, let's start it off. So, are the Los Angeles Dodgers causing an MLB strike currently? Take it or leave it.
I'm going to take it.
I'll take it.
You're going to see the Dodgers blitzkrieg this postseason like they're doing.
Yep.
They dispatched the Phillies, who spend a ton of money, and beat them with relative ease.
Sweep the Brewers
4
today?
games. It looks like they will probably sweep the Brewers in 4 games. Then they'll go to take on a team in the American League that is going to be thin on pitching because that series is going a long way with 2-2 at this point.
Yep.
And the Dodgers are going to win back-to-back championships very likely. And the Dodgers have done that by getting Mookie Betts an MVP and Freddie Freeman an MVP and Shohei Ohtani an MVP. That's
Japanese
3 MVPs
pipeline.
that they've gone to get. They've got Blake Snell that's won a Cy Young, and they've got Yamamoto, who they paid $1 bajillion for out of Japan. And they went and got 3 closers out of the free agent bullpen market and signed them all to their bullpen. And they've just done it with money. And they're money whipping the rest of the league. And there are going to be folks that own teams that go, we can't compete with this. You are compromising your sport. You're going to alienate fans across the country who look at this in Kansas City and Tampa and Phoenix and St. Louis and Pittsburgh and go, we can't beat these guys. Why are we even showing up? And I'm not saying they're doing anything wrong. Like, the Dodgers are operating the way I wish the Cubs would operate.
Yeah.
They got bajillionaire owners who make so much money, and they won't go buy anybody for free agent money. But it's going to cause a work stoppage when the owners demand a salary cap. The players will not budge from it. They will play next season. 2027 will not start on time, and who knows when they're going to get together because the Dodgers are blitzkrieging the entire sport.
Okay, so is Nashville, Tennessee the best trip in the SEC? Take it or leave it.
I will take it.
I'll take it. Whoa.
I will take it. I'm a sucker for a college town.
Okay.
So for me, Athens, Oxford, Auburn, great places. They were probably better for me when I was in college because you don't care about hotel amenities. You don't care about fine dining restaurants. I slept in my car in multiple places. I slept in my car in Starkville. I slept in my car in Knoxville. I drove. I rode in a truck bed 50 miles in and out of Gainesville both ways on Friday and Saturday in 2006. So, there were no amenities. I was just there for the fun and the bars, and that's what college towns are great for. And I love college towns. But if you're looking for a place to stay and things to do and all that, Nashville's a phenomenal city, and yes, it's the best in the SEC. I'm partial to the Fayettevilles of the world as well that are a little bit more intimate, but I realize that they don't have quite as much going on. So Nashville is a great trip.
Okay, so is October the best month for sports? Take it or leave it.
I'll take it. I think it's the best month for sports. Yes. College football is in full conference swing. The Major League Baseball playoffs are great. The NFL, you've kind of got some rhythm to it as well. You haven't gotten to the best, but you've got some rhythm to it as well. The NBA is around the corner. You can start to listen to your podcast, and it's getting rolling. So, yeah, I think that you can make that case. My favorite time of year is March, April, May.
Okay.
I like to have the Masters and SEC baseball and the NCAA tournament and opening day for Major League Baseball. I like that better, but it's hard to You got stuff that really matters here, and for so much of the population, like the Masters doesn't matter, and they certainly don't care about SEC baseball and all that kind of stuff. So I'll give it to October with an understanding that that's just sports. When I bring crawfish into the mix and the weather's starting to warm up into the mix, and golf in full swing for the PGA Tour for me, like I'm in with that. But I'll cede to October. How do you give me your favorite month?
Well, month-wise, I'm gonna have to go. Well, sports or just like in general. Sports-wise, I mean, October, November. I just like when the weather finally changes and you can start wearing hoodies outside to the games, and it just feels that Saturday morning when you step outside, there's just no clouds in the sky, just nice brisk breeze going on. Mm-hmm. That's my favorite time of the year. So that's, we still kind of hot outside, but we slowly getting there. So I'll say
it's interesting because when I run at like 5:15 every morning, and it is it's like 60 at that point, which is there's a little chill the second I open my door. Yes. Now the first stride I take, the chill is gone, but it's nice then, and then you realize that it's going to raise. It's going to rise 30 degrees when the sun comes up.
But that 60 to 75, that's that perfect Saturday weather. Yes. So. Is USC and Notre Dame a top 5 rivalry in college football? Take it or leave it.
Well, let's look. It's not better than Ohio State, Michigan. It is not better than Alabama, Auburn. So that's 2 for sure. Okay. I don't believe it's better than Texas, Oklahoma.
Oh, it's definitely
that's 3. So then you start to get into some of the others where I do think that you've got a chance to keep USC, Notre Dame in the discussion. Texas, Texas A&M, Florida State, Miami, Florida State. And I wouldn't go as far as to put like LSU and Bama in that. I mean, it's a great game, but I wouldn't go as far as to put it in there. So I would, if you're looking for history and Heisman winners and that kind of deal, like it is certainly in the top 5. But like I love geography and rivalries, and USC fans are all in Southern California, and the heart of the Notre Dame fan base is in the Midwest. Now they're national because their television contract and the Catholic thing and all that. So my final answer, is it a top 5 rivalry in college football? I will say yes. It's on the very back end of that. I will take it somewhere 4 or 5.
Okay. I can agree with that but I do like how you said the geography thing because I think that's very important with a rivalry.
That's why Auburn, Alabama is the best rivalry. It's better than Ohio State, Michigan because Auburn, Alabama, you have to share an office. You have to share Thanksgiving table.
Yes.
Like if you're from Detroit, how many Ohio State fans are you hanging out with?
Not many.
Not a lot. If you're in Cleveland, how many Michigan fans do you button into? There are some. Michigan's a huge school. Ohio State's a huge school. They're Midwest schools. There's some. But most people in Michigan are Michigan fans. Most people in Ohio are Ohio State fans. In Alabama,
split right down the middle.
There's just everybody you bump into might pull for another team.
Yeah. Okay, I like that. I can agree with that. Okay, so is cooking a frozen pizza. Wait. Cooking a frozen pizza destroys the clean kitchen. Take it or leave. What's going on here, man?
I'm going to leave it. Here's the deal.
Leave it alone.
This goes back to my home. I might get Cassie's input on this. We'll see.
Okay.
We have like every 6 weeks someone come like deep clean the house.
Okay.
Like we pick up after ourselves. This is not a once a week thing here.
Trust me, I know my mom be doing. I hate
6 weeks. So we get somebody to deep clean. Yes. When that happens, the kitchen is off limits for like 48 hours. No cooking. Like you can't. Alyssa like freaks out about it. So my idea for tonight, since the house cleaner came today, okay, let's go frozen pizza. That's easy. No cleanup, whatever. She acted like I was hosting a high school baking competition. No, there will be crumbs. There will be you'll spill cheese on the counter. The oven will get dirty. And I was like, this is a bit extreme. So we have to do takeout. I thought the frozen pizza was a pretty clean alternative. She thought it was just like a nuclear war in the kitchen. I think it's ridiculous. Cassie, do you have a thought on this? Is the frozen pizza a messy option that will destroy the recently cleaned kitchen?
No, I have to agree with you, actually.
Thank you very much. Rational minds prevail.
Wouldn't takeout also have crumbs?
Exactly. She wants to get sushi. Issue? Somebody might spill some soy sauce. Newsflash, there's a 4-year-old in the house who's going to have to eat something. That's going to be a compromise there. Look,
I'm compromised because some takeout sounds really good than frozen pizza. Sushi sounds good.
But based off of her argument, it'd be the same. It'd be the same mess.
Yeah, no, it's still food regardless. But takeout on a Friday just hits different. Like maybe that's what she really just wants, some takeout on a Friday.
Truth be told, I don't care what we eat. I am going to drink some Flight by Yinglings and maybe a scotch and watch some baseball and whatever. I don't really care.
But you want some good food to go with.
The point was, it's not that I prefer a frozen pizza to sushi. I probably do, but they're both fine to me. It was the fact that I proposed the frozen pizza and she looked at me like I had three heads.
Yeah.
Like that was a ridiculous thing to even bring up.
Yeah, like you're hosting a watch party or something. Like it's just a frozen pizza. So I get the gripe, but takeout on the Fridays is like, oh, let's go. It's weekend. Let's go.
One more text in for Take It or Leave It from my guy Jeffrey, who says, what about Army Navy as a top 5 rivalry in college football? This is the freezing, like the worst take I have relative to the masses. I do not give a rip about Army Navy. I don't care. They're not good at football.
I don't either.
I don't care about watching the triple option. I don't ever watch that game. Like I'm not suggesting it's terrible or it's bad. Like people love it, and Hester's been there, and he would tell me I'm a clown of the utmost degree, which he would disagree with every take I have. Basically, I just don't care about that, and like I care about those people. Yeah, they're phenomenal for going to serve our country, and like that's great. And the president's there half the time, and they don't like each other for that day, and then they fight for the country, and all that's well and good. I'm not watching the game. I don't have any interest.
Don't feel bad because again, they're Army coming into a Navy they're not really going to be that good. Like Army was good last year, but other than that,
good is relative.
Yeah,
they're good for the American, which is not very good.
So it's just like
I got back and forth with a Tulane fan a couple months ago who said that I was clowning Tulane. I was like, well, you're in the American. You're Tulane. I don't know what to tell you. They went to Oxford and got beat by 1,000. I
wanted to win that game so bad.
Well, they didn't because they're not good. So there's that. So, all right, that's it for Take It or Leave It here on this Friday. Brought to you by Flight by Yingling. We got one segment to go. We're going to pick LSU Vanderbilt next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge. GenesisofBatonRouge.com. Jeffrey, who texted in, called me a very, very, very mean name for not liking Army Navy. As I said, Genesis of Baton Rouge is good, though. Nothing mean about it. You can drive one off the lot today, and when you do, you'll get America's best warranty with it. Powertrain warranty, 10 years, 100,000 mile. New vehicle, bumper-to-bumper warranty, 5 years, 60,000 miles. And then the big one, enhanced roadside assistance, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 5 years, unlimited miles. The peace of mind you have driving a Genesis, knowing that you're under warranty for that length of time, knowing that you've got 24-hour maintenance at your disposal, and then knowing that you're going to get complimentary scheduled maintenance as well for 3 years is amazing. And they'll valet that maintenance. So they'll come to you, drop you off a loaner, fix your vehicle, bring it right back to you. It's awesome. And the people at Genesis are awesome. You will find that out the second you set foot on the lot. It's just a first-class operation with a first-class facility and a ridiculously good line of vehicles. It's luxury in every way, and it's a luxury brand at a reasonable price. Go by and see them, Airline at Pico. Go see them this weekend, or check them out online, GenesisofBatonRouge.com. That's Genesis of Baton Rouge.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
Parish Construction and Roofing. This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs. From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and First American Bank and Trust bring you the Heart of the Game Award, recognizing student athletes who deliver when it counts. Nominate your game day standout at 1045ESPN.com by the 21st. We'll choose 5 male and 5 female finalists, and then it's up to the fans to vote for the winners. Each winner gets a $250 gift card, a custom award, and the spotlight they've earned. Presented by First American Bank and Trust, a banking tradition since 1910.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972.
You're listening to The Hun Palmer Show, brought to you by Quirks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Friday shows brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. Got those famous baked potatoes topped with crawfish etouffee. They'll put you those golden fried shrimp on top. Awesome. You can drive on through or take a seat in their newly renovated dining room. They're on Government between Foster and Jefferson. Fantastic food and great people as well. I've known Paul and Michael for a very long time, and they're great folks that have had great impact on the Baton Rouge community in their restaurant right there, Corks, well as Kuyon's. Great stuff, and they brought you our Friday shows for a very long time at this point, so get on by and see them this weekend. All right, I told you earlier about our broadcast schedule. Tomorrow we'll be on 7 o'clock, Eagle on 8.1 Game Day. That leads into me at 9 o'clock on the LSU Sports Radio Network. Myself, Brandon Taylor, Marlon Favorite with you from 9 o'clock to about 10:35, 10:45. That's when we go to the broadcast team. They'll have the call of the game over there on Eagle. 30 minutes after it goes final, I will be with you with Brandon and Marlon reacting to LSU and Vanderbilt. And then 90 minutes after the game ends, Charles Handiger for Richard Dixon from Rouse's, Burbank, and Lee for 3 hours on an extended version of Eagle 98.1 Game Day's post-game show, taking your phone calls. And so now it's the point where I tell you what I think we'll be reacting to come Saturday morning. You know, I've said for a long time that the two best words in Southeastern Conference football scheduling are at Vanderbilt, because your fan base gets a great trip to Nashville. Tickets are cheap. You go up there, you get an easy win over a bad team. That's a Southeastern Conference road win that counts the same as a win at Georgia, and you head on home. What could be better than that? Everybody wins. And Clark Lee and Diego Pavia have thrown a big wrench in that, because Clark Lee and Diego Pavia have a good football team. They've got a football team that played Alabama straight up last year and beat them. They've got a football team that played Texas straight up last year and just lost. They came to Tiger Stadium, and I would suggest LSU controlled the game, but they lost by 7. This is not a one-time thing, a one-game thing. They're consistently doing this. They've beaten Virginia Tech 2 years in a row. They pummeled South Carolina without Lenora Sellers earlier this year. It's a good football team relative to what they usually are. I would suggest they're an average football team when it comes to the Southeastern Conference. And I would also suggest that LSU has been an average football team this year. They're really good on defense. They're not good on offense. That averages out to average. Vanderbilt's been pretty good at both. I think that Vegas having Vanderbilt favored is very easily rationalized. Like, if LSU goes out there and can't run the ball at all, like they couldn't in Oxford, can't run the ball at all, like they at times couldn't against Florida, and Garrett Nussmeier makes some bad decisions against a good defensive coach, like, Vanderbilt win this game, no doubt. But here's what I keep going back to. LSU's got better players. They do. They have better players than Vanderbilt. And I think LSU found a little something on the ground last week, and I think Vanderbilt's ground game is going to struggle to get rolling like they need it to against LSU for those consistent 4, 5, 6 yard gains to wear LSU down. I may be proven wrong, and that may be because LSU's banged up front, and maybe because I just overestimate what LSU is on defense, and this is a better offense than we've seen, because we know that South Carolina's bad on offense, and Clemson's bad on offense, and Florida's bad on offense. But I like LSU's defense, and I think they're going to load the box with numbers, trust Mansour Delane, P.J. Woodland, DJ Pickett to play man-to-man defense on the outside, and they're going to make scoring difficult on Vanderbilt. And then it comes to whether or not LSU can keep Vanderbilt honest offensively by running it a little bit and then hitting with the more athletic, better players on the outside than Vanderbilt does. I wrestled with this game, and ultimately the stat that swung me was Alabama being so bad in run defense and allowing Vanderbilt to run the ball on them. And then I went, well, actually LSU's a lot better than Alabama at that. So I got a little aggressive for this one this week. Little aggressive. I've got a final score on Saturday in Nashville. LSU 27, Vanderbilt 11. I think LSU handles business in Nashville, and that's going to set up a week-long build-up to a monster game in Tiger Stadium with Texas A&M. Maybe that's a look-ahead spot for LSU here. I'm suggesting it's not. Give me the Tigers by 16, 27-11 in Music City. We'll be talking about it on the post-game show on the network and certainly on Monday. But we've done all we can do here on this Football Friday. We're going to hand things off to Matt Moscona, who is in Nashville on Broadway. He'll drive you home from 3 to 6 on AFR. See you Monday.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier